Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Football Manager 2018 with Zebu Nation. This is Loser to Legend with CLYDE FC, and today we have for you the preseason spectacular for Season 6 of Ladbrokes League 1. So let's get right to it. No messing around. Last season, we got promoted the season before, so this was our first season in League 1, and we just avoided relegation. We actually comfortably avoided relegation, but we did finish pretty poorly. We'll take a look at where we are. We are finished in 8th place. After 36 games, we had only 9 wins, 14 draws, 13 losses, a total of 41 points, plus 3 goal differential. Not terrible. That was good enough to finish, up here mid-table, with our goal differential. So we just had a couple of problems here and there. Now, we came on late in the season, put together a good run, and finished well out of relegation. We finished 11 points out of relegation, so that's pretty good. We were out of relegation by, there were 3 or 4 games left in the season, and we had already clinched, the 8th spot. So it was no problem in terms of avoiding relegation. It's just we didn't, we got a long way to go, let's put it that way, to reach teams like Sterling and Queen of the South and stuff like that. We got to win some more games, and hopefully we can do that this season, this current season. But we'll take a look at how we get there. I guess right now we'll do that by running through the checklist. How about that? So we start with the checklist with our under 20s, and here we go. As you can see, our under 20s are not that great. It's not quite the depth of talent you want to build a franchise around. We got a lot of guys who just are no good and aren't going to help us out at all. We really only have 3 top prospects currently in the under 20s. We've got Blair Muirhead, attacking right midfielder, 17 years old. He's just sort of okay. Decent pace and acceleration, good teamwork. But other than that, he's got a lot of work to do. Then we got Sean Dowie, the shot-stopping goalkeeper, only 16 years old, so he definitely has a long way to go. But he's got 13 reflexes already. That's okay. His jumping reach and aerial reach aren't that great, but, he's got some potential. He's 6'4", so he's already a really big kid, and maybe he can grow into that body over time. And he's got 3-star potential, so that's pretty good. And then our top prospect currently in the under 20s is Ryan Potter, the attacking center midfielder. 1.5-star ability currently, 3.5-star potential, possibly even 4.5-star potential. So that would be outstanding. We've already signed him to a professional contract. He's been up and down with the senior team. He's pretty good. He's got decent physicals, no real drawbacks other than jumping reach, but he's getting better with his physicals day by day. Mentals are okay. Nice flair and leadership. Nice aggression, I guess. Everything else could use a lot of work. Technically, he could definitely use a lot of work, but he does have pretty good technique. So that's a good foundation for a young player. Still only 17. Like I said, he's already played with the main team. So, he's already showing that potential. Now, the good news is we do have several young players playing in our top team right now, but in terms of just players at the academy, we are a little thin in terms of prospects. Finances, this is an issue. We are £246,000 in the hole. Although things are getting a little bit better this offseason, we're starting to gain a little momentum towards profitability, but we got a long way to go. This season we've made £53,000, so that's good that we're making money. But last season we lost £200,000, so we got to do something about that. And one of the things I'm trying as kind of an experiment is I'm moving some of our payroll over to the transfer budget. I moved $79,000 over there just to give it a try. And this is sort of a multi-leveled experiment here. First of all, I want to see if there's anybody out there who's worth this kind of money. If we could bring in somebody who's worth even a fraction of this, like £10,000, he might be an outstanding player for this division, this league. But if we can bring in somebody who's worth like £50,000 or £25,000, a couple of players like that, they could be superstars for this club. So that's something to think about. The other thing I'm worried about is sometimes the board comes in and they'll snatch your transfer budget and take it to cover their balance. And I'm wondering if that's kind of what I might actually want them to do. So if they do come in and snatch some of this transfer budget to cover the overall balance, I might move enough in there to cover the balance so that we can get back to equilibrium and start making some money, as opposed to being in such horrific debt. Maybe that's a good idea, maybe that's a bad idea, I don't know, but I want to give it a try, and there's a very specific reason why I want to give it a try. Not only to help myself, like to be able to get coaching courses and to be able to improve facilities and upgrade stuff, but the board made a decision during the off-season that I was not happy with. I guess we'll look at it in a moment. We are still secure with the board, so that's no problem. 58%. Board confidence. Club finances, they're happy with the finances, so maybe they won't snatch our transfer budget. I don't know. They're happy with a lot of things right now. Tactics, they're a little unhappy. But overall, we're looking good. Competition performances, they're okay so far. We haven't really started anything. Club issues, payroll budget, job value is even halfway okay. Our philosophies are just first-team youngsters and develop young players using the youth system. So we're just focused on youth players right now and not really focused on like signing big transfers. So maybe that transfer budget experiment isn't what we're supposed to be doing, but you know, we got other things to think about. Like I mentioned, the board made a decision, and their decision was to go semi-professional. We dropped down from a professional team to a semi-professional team, and it's all due to budget. And that has kind of affected us in the off-season because now they won't let us sign any more full-time contracts, so everybody we sign has to be on a part-time contract, which is going to be difficult for younger players because they're not going to get as much training, not going to improve as much, so that's not so good. It also makes it harder to sign some players because if you're a professional player right now, you don't necessarily want to sign a semi-professional contract. Although a lot of these guys will sign semi-professional contracts, it's just if we're looking for that higher quality player, it might not happen. So that is definitely an issue. And that brings us to our transfers. Our transfers, we got one, guy we're looking at here on a free transfer, Daniel Pibus, 24-year-old Englishman. We've offered him a trial because it would cost us like £1,000 to go out and scout him. So I figured why not just bring him to us for free. He's only 5'3", 130 pounds. He's a pretty small dude, only 6 strength. At best, he's got 5 jumping reach, so he's not like an athletic superstar, but just, we're looking for some options in the midfield, and he's got vision, he's got passing, he's got first touch, so he might be an okay guy, but we got to take a look at him. So just send out a feeler, send out a flyer on this guy just to see what we could get out of him. In terms of actual transfers, we'll see who we released. We released a lot of players and a lot of familiar players. We let go of Kessie, the central defender, 24 years old. He was pretty decent for us. We let him go. Hendry, the defensive forward. Blair Curry, who had been our starting goalkeeper for 5 seasons. He's gone. Morrison, who was a team favorite player. It's not quite up to standard anymore. Connolly, also not quite up to standard. The midfielder. He's a guy we could bring back. He's okay with his first touch and passing and vision. But, he's still out there on a free, so it's not like we have to rush out and grab him up. McKinley, another team favorite. A guy who in the beginning, our first season, this guy was a miracle worker. He was one of our team leaders, but we let him go in the offseason, let his contract run out. Because, again, he just wasn't of good enough quality, and he was making, a fair wage. He was making pretty good money, so we had to let him go. Ross Cameron, guess what? Another striker. A guy who really wasn't playing much for us and just getting him off the books. Ronan Stollard, a guy who a few years ago was one of our top hot prospects, but he just didn't pan out once we got a look at him on the first team. His potential just plummeted, and he's got some interesting stats, but just not in the right places. And he just didn't have what we needed, so we got rid of him. In terms of just actual transfers, you can see it's a pretty blank screen. There ain't much going on. We secured Diver again for loan, and that's all we were able to do. That's the only thing we were able to accomplish this offseason. Because I really got stuck between two minds once we went semi-professional. It's like, do we just stick with what we got this season and try to just improve the club by playing better? Because we got that goalkeeper at the end of the season, and that allowed us to go on a nice winning streak and showed that we could actually compete at this level. So maybe all we needed was that goalkeeper, and we could finish pretty well in this league. I don't know. So that's one mindset. Another mindset is, we're supposed to be a youth club. So do we just develop the youth, bring up the youth, be satisfied with finishing, 8th place again and avoiding relegation, and then just try to build the club slowly? Or do we save up our money, go big, try to find somebody to spend, 50, 60, 70,000 pounds on and bring in a bunch of guys and just have one last hurrah with CLYDE FC to try to get promoted? Or do we go out and find a bunch of loan players? So I had so many things bouncing around in my head, I couldn't really concentrate on one strategy or one philosophy. So that's something I still got to figure out. I'm thinking of leaning towards the loan players, just because that's kind of a good balance of all of the different philosophies. It won't cost us much money, if any. We could bring in younger players. We could, still try to compete and try to get big loan players, loan players who are really good. But, that's all sort of chance in terms of who's up for loan and who's willing to come play for us. So we got a lot of things to think about here in the transfer market. Scouting, not much going on. Competitions, the board is still not very demanding. They just want us to avoid a relegation battle in League One, reach the 4th round in the Scottish Cup. We haven't really played a game yet. We're already starting out in the 3rd round, so that's pretty good. Be competitive in the Betfred Cup and reach the 3rd round of the Iron Brew Cup. We have not started the Iron Brew Cup yet, and we start in the 2nd round. So I think that's pretty good. Schedule-wise, you can see how we've done this offseason. We started out very strong. 2 draws away, and then 2 really nice wins. We beat Preston Athletic 4-0. Take a look at this. Really nice ratings. Lindsay, the fullback, with an 8.4. Breslin, 8.0. He's back to playing central defense again. 8.8 for Bowden, the young midfielder. 9.6 for McCauley, player of the match for the 17-year-old striker, Gary McCauley. So we can take a look at the goals, I guess. Take a look at our young striker in action. So, this was a lower division team that we played against, but it was a nice way to start off the preseason. There's McLaughlin, getting it to Bowden. Gets the steal back, sends it down for Henvey, and Henvey starts the scoring with sort of a weak goal, but this was one of his last appearances with the club before he was out of there. Here's Lindsay, one of our promising young prospects. Gets it forward to McCauley, the 17-year-old. He outraces the defense. Nice finish. Their goalkeeper was terrible. You could see both goals, he just sort of stood there and let him go past. But yeah, Lindsay's a really good prospect. He's a guy who's been with us for what seems like forever. He gets another long pass to Henvey. Henvey crosses it in, and there's McCauley, just better positioning than those defenders who were not very good. So we do have some good prospects, and Lindsay is one of the ones who is actually developing. He's up to 2.5 stars now. When we started playing him, he was like a 1.5 star guy. There's another goal from Macaulay. So he got the hat trick. Nice one for the 17-year-old striker. So he's a guy who's, he's going to get some chances with us because you saw all those strikers we let go in the off season. So now he's going to have some opportunities to play. And he played really well there. Then our next game was a bit of a surprise. In front of 1,200 home fans, which is pretty decent, we beat our old rivals, Patrick Thistle, 1-0. How about that? For you CLYDE fans, beating Patrick Thistle is no small achievement here. We didn't play particularly well. Barry didn't play well. Diver didn't play well. Their defense played pretty good, but we had some key substitutions, and we managed to come out on top 1-0. Was not too dramatic, but we, scored and then held on, and Patrick Thistle just couldn't really do much against our defense and goalkeeping. So here's our one penalty kick goal from King in the 20th minute. So we were able to hold on from the 20th minute on, and I don't want to show you those highlights because it's just, nothing but defensive sludgery, but still, great win against Patrick Thistle, who is a Premiership team. So that's good. That's where we want to go. We want to get to be able to beat these guys, on their own playing field rather than have to play them in a friendly. We want to, play them in the Premiership. Then we went on a bit of a bad run, and by a bit of a bad run, I mean 5 losses in a row. Now, some of these can be excused because we played some of the top teams we're going to play all season long. We played, of course, Celtic, best team in Scotland. We lost 3-0 in front of 20,000 away fans, but we got a nice paycheck for that. We also got a nice paycheck from playing Sheffield United. We lost to them 5-0. Not so good, but they're a League One team in England, so they're, a higher caliber of team, a higher division team, so that was another paycheck game. Then we went into the Iron Brew Cup, and we were very disappointing in the Iron Brew Cup, if I'm honest. Now, we had a tough draw. We had Dundee United, which is a championship team, another team above us. Ember City, League 2 team. We should have beat them, but we didn't. But, they're familiar with us, and we're familiar with them, so they weren't intimidated. That was a heck of a game, though. 3-4 in that game. I can show you the goals in this game. This was a very exciting, entertaining match. It was obviously back and forth, but we just couldn't get that last goal to tie it up and take it into overtime or get the draw. And this makes me question our defense. There's a nice pressure by Finlayson. Gets it again to that guy Peters, who we're hoping for a big season from Peters. He's going to be our #1 striker. He's a guy who has the ability to play at this level. And there's an own goal. That was not so good from Finlayson. So that started out the scoring very weird. Finlayson makes a great play on one end and then a bad play on the other end. But Peters, we need him to come up big this season. Here's Murphy now. Gets it to McGuigan with a header over the goalkeeper. And this was pretty much our starting lineup. So pretty much the best players we had. There's Diver. Gets it to Miller. Daknovich. We're playing the diamond. Barry gets it forward to Peters, and there he is again with the second goal. So if he can play like this all season, I think we got a good chance. It's just a matter of playing a little bit more soundly defensively. Lang sends it across. And again, here's that sort of defense. Is a little slow, a little lazy. Gets caught on the backside is McGuigan. So we might need to go out and get another central defender, but our central defenders, star rating wise are pretty good. So I don't know exactly what we're going to do. Diver, Finlayson, back to Potter, the youngster. There's our 17-year-old attacking midfielder. So when we played the diamond formation, we got him in there. He played pretty well. So it's 3-3 at this point. And here's Murphy in the 80th minute, again with a cross. McGuigan to Watson. So we do have problems on the back line. 87-minute diver to Potter. Gets it to Peters, but check this out. Check this out. Oh, they didn't show it. We got caught by a video assistant referee. They showed a replay, and there was like a yellow line on the screen, and they like zoomed in like it was on television, and they showed him being offside, and they nixed that goal. So it would have been cool for them to actually show that in the highlight package, but there you go. Video assistant referee confirmed exists in FM18, not in only in this weird cup competition, but that was weird. I'd never seen that before. So very cool. But yeah, then we went on. We lost to Hamilton, which is another tough draw for us. Another Premiership team. Another one of our old rivals. We lost to them 4-2 in front of 1,500 fans at home. So we got a lot of good fans. We got some very good games at home. We played Dundee at home as well. So that's what helped us in terms of finances. Playing a lot of these big teams, getting a lot of fat contracts to go there, and we got some money from the Betford Cup as well, so that all helped us out. So hopefully we can continue that kind of stuff, because we have another big friendly coming up versus St. Mirren, our affiliate team, and we get to play one friendly a season for free at home and get to keep all the proceeds, so that's good. Medical Center, we're doing pretty good. We got one injury to Lewis Wilson, the youngster. He's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks, but that's no problem. Injury susceptibility is pretty good, so, what happened? Medical Center. Medical-wise, we're pretty healthy this season, and we're going to need that to continue because we've got such a thin roster. Training staff, there hasn't been any changes in the staff. We do have room for another scout, but I don't know that we're going to need him. I don't know that we're going to use him. So we've already got like the best scouts in the league. Do we not have any defense or fitness? Why are these lines gray? Lowest in the league? Forfer is the worst. I don't know why those lines are grayed out. It's no good. Let's take a look at our training. Coaches. Tactics. Defending 1.5 stars, I guess. Would it get any better if we just focused on that? No, we're sort of a tactics coach. Tactics and defending. Our ball control would get better if we took Wilson off of that. So I don't know why that was grayed out, but trust me, we do coach defense, so that's enough of that. All right, squad dynamics. We let a lot of guys go who were very important to the squad, but it didn't really affect much. Match cohesion, very good. Locker room atmosphere, still good. Going down a little bit because we had all those losses in a row, but other than that, leadership support, excellent. We do have one concerned player here. Breslin needs to get first team, but we're giving him more first team, so I don't think that's going to be much of a problem. Hierarchy. We now have 3 team leaders, Miller, Cudahy, and Peters. Part of the core social group. That's good. We have 23 players who support us. Only 3 have no opinions, no opposing players, so we're really good there. Social groups. Everybody's in the one big core social group. So we're all one big happy family. Happiness, everybody's looking pretty good except for Breslin. Yeah, Breslin's the only one with a concern for playing time. So we're looking pretty good. Okay, let's get to a game. How about that? Must respond to our training. We'll hand that over to the assistant coach. And continue. So it's going to be a season of, I don't know what. either it's going to be a season of big change, big moves, and big upheaval, or it's going to be a very quiet season. I don't know. We got to decide. You know, we've got our other FM save going on right now in the MLS, so it's, you know, there's a lot of exciting stuff going on. So sometimes it's hard to continue 2 saves, not necessarily for time reasons, but just for enthusiasm reasons. You know, you get into MLS and you're like, man, I really want to, you know, continue playing with that MLS, but I got to record a couple of videos for this weekend of CLYDE and got to get back into the CLYDE mode mindset. And also, you know, CLYDE and MLS play much different caliber of football. It's sort of kind of a drag to come back here and watch these knuckleheads chunk it around the field. Even though MLS isn't like the highest level football there is, but it's still much higher than League 2 or League 1 of the Scottish leagues. Well, that does bring me to something interesting I was thinking about. I was thinking about doing an experiment. I don't do many, if any, experiments. We got the Iron Brew draw. We can take a look at that. We can do the automatic draw while I talk about this. I was thinking about doing an experiment of taking the Scottish Premier Leagues. Hey, we got the first draw versus Airdrie. Ladbrokes League 1. So we're familiar with these guys. It's going to be basically a conference match. That's going to be tough to start out with. So anyway, experiment. I don't do many, if any, experiments, but this one just sort of popped into my head and I thought it might be interesting, is take the Scottish Premiership and put them in MLS. Make them like a third conference in MLS and sort of tweak this. I want to keep everything else the same in MLS, all the salary caps, all the, you know, playoffs, no promotion, no relegation, all that stuff. Just have an Eastern Conference, Western Conference, and like Scottish division. And just, you know, impose the salary cap restrictions and stuff like that on the Scottish teams, and, you know, give them rules similar to the Canadian team where they have to have so many Scottish players on their team and stuff like that. I think it would be interesting to see how they would fare in MLS. You know, obviously you can't put Premier League teams in there. I mean, maybe if you included the salary cap and imposed the salary cap on the Premier League, that would also be interesting. See how they would do in a couple of seasons. But I don't know. Anyway, that's just something I thought about. I don't really do many experiments. I don't really mess with the database that much. So that would take a lot of learning on my part in terms of how to edit the database. But you know, it could be interesting. If I run out of interesting things, you know, interesting saves, I might do that. All right, so we got our cup match versus Airdrie. Airdrie have been drawn as the home team, and we'll play at Excelsior Stadium, with the draw pitting a semi-pro outfit at home to a bigger team in Bullywee. A bumper crowd is expected for what is undoubtedly be a fascinating and hard-fought tie. Okay. Interesting. The Airdrieonians, interesting name, won the competition for their only time in their 20-year history back in 2009. Huh. Okay. Good for you. Had to rearrange 2 matches to make room for the Iron Brew Cup. So here we go. Let's get to our team selection. And if you're watching my MLS save with Montreal Impact, you'll recognize this formation, the 4-2-4. I'm going to give it a try with CLYDE. Why not? It's working pretty well for me in Montreal. It's a fun formation. And I looked at my team and I thought, you know what? I always switch back and forth between having 2 strikers and 2 wingers in different formations. How about we just combine those formations and have 2 strikers and 2 wingers in the same formation? Now it makes us take out our defensive midfielder, but our defensive midfielders are just sort of okay anyway. It's not like they're high impact players. They're there mostly just for their leadership. So I don't know. I just wanted to give it a try. We weren't playing our third formation anyway, which we had as a 4-3-3. Just wasn't playing it. It wasn't interesting to me to play it. So we'll give the 4-2-4 a try. We're playing a lot of our reserve players here because we're trying to get everybody match fit, and we got the regular season is starting up in a few days, so we don't want to tire anybody out or get anybody injured, but we got some interesting players in there. I'm going to have Peters get in there, or am I? I think I might rather actually have Dakota King in there because he's a little less match fit, but he's still a really good striker. We still have a lot of good strikers on this team. He's going to be joined by Macaulay. You saw the 17-year-old get the hat trick. He's got nice finishing, takes good free kicks. This is probably well above his level, but if he can play well here, you never know. He'll get some experience at a higher level. We got Deknovich, Dallas. We got a good team in there. We'll take a look at the team once we submit it. But yeah, the 4-2-4 is an attacking formation, and it's done well for us. They are going with the Stargate formation. Turner, Lions. I can't pronounce words today. Lions. That's an easy enough name to say. Anyway, looks like they got a lot of youngsters in there, a lot of regens in there, guys. A couple guys with no faces. So we'll see how good their team is. But we've got Parks in goal. We're going to let him, face this higher competition and see if he can play well. Stewart taking the captain's armband on the left-hand side. He needs some match fitness. There's Lindsay, fullback I was talking about. Morrison and Murray, another young academy player, 17-year-old. We're going to give him a shot at central defense. He's got pretty good physical abilities, and he's getting much better game by game. His technical abilities are way down, but he's getting better. So if he could reach this 3-star potential, that would be great. But for right now, he's got, good enough physical abilities to play at our level, and he's determined. So maybe just by getting him some playing time, we can help him out. Then we got Bowden, another youngster at midfield. He's pretty good. McLaughlin is in there. Daknovich, and Dallas on the wingers. And then, as I mentioned, Macaulay and King at the strikers. So let's go. Teamwork. I'm expecting a win. Come on. This is your chance to impress me, I guess. King wants a chance to impress. And here we are at home. Doesn't look like a bumper crowd, but it's pretty good. We probably got around, 900 fans again this season, so that's okay. Haven't seen what the away side looks like, but the away teams might have brought some decent fans with them since it is St. Mirren. You'd think maybe that side is like all filled up and we just won't see it. All right, here's Macaulay with the free kick. Sends it in. McLaughlin down. Tries to get it to Murray. Macaulay heads it to Daknovich. Daknovich is going to take a shot, and there it is. Look at that. We get up on St. Mirren. They're going to regret this partnership here. McLaughlin wins it. That was a nice header. Macaulay down to Daknovich, and then he just sort of chips it at the goalkeeper, and that was a bad attempt. I'm thinking they've got a reservist goalkeeper in here. 27-year-old Italian, valued at $34,000. So that doesn't seem like a reservist to me. Ha. Marky Monroe, 21 years old. Buchanan, 32 years old. There's Lyons, 21 years old. So it's not like they got a bunch of 17-year-olds in here like we do. Oh, there's an 18-year-old, Ross Turner. Left defender. He's he's a guy we've been scouting, a guy we've been considering picking up, but he's just not good enough. I think I actually just cut him off of my my list of players to look at. Manis, 26 years old. Hartford, 20 years old. So this isn't a complete reserve team they got against us. All right, here we go. White gets it to Smith. He gets the shot off, but it's wide. No problem there. 32 minutes down in the half. 35 minutes and rolling. The clock is going pretty well. I think we're just on standard. I don't think we're attacking or anything like that. Yeah, just standard. Normally for Montreal, I put these guys like in attack mode and send them sort of a high pressing style. I'm not doing that here with CLYDE. I'm just going to let them do what they feel like. I feel like taking a drink of water. There we go. Been recording several videos today. There we go, halftime. A little bit parched. Dressing room team talk. I'm pleased with how things are going. Let's go. Keep it up. Start the second half. Do we have any tactical analysis? Not a peep. All right. All right, so 45 minutes down. First half went extremely well. Got a goal off a second phase of a set piece. They've already made 3 substitutions. All right, here's Boyle with a throw in for St. Mirren. Gets it to McManus. To Frazier with a shot off the post. Somebody get to it. McLaughlin, good job. That probably should have been a goal. That was a rocket off the post. But I'll take it. I'll take it. How are we doing? Lindsay's not playing too hot. Uh-oh, here's Whiten. Sends one just over. Lindsay's not playing too well. Bowden's not playing too well. Everybody else is looking okay. Dallas with only a 6.5, but we'll give them a few minutes to improve their ratings. There we go. Lindsay's going up and down with his rating. Bowden and Dallas not looking so hot. So maybe we can make some changes here. We'll bring in Finlayson for Lindsay. We'll bring in Miller for Bowden. There's a big change. Making the ball winner. And then on the right-hand side, how about we bring in something special? We'll bring in Robbie Hogg for Dallas. Put him on attack. Because Robbie Hogg, he's a striker by trade. 12 finishing, 13 first touch. Maybe even put him... No, he can't play anything but winger. But we'll see what he can do. Maybe he can generate a goal. He's not going to be crossing the ball much. We can just get him the ball, have him run down the field, and maybe get a goal. There's Breslin getting beat on the back line by McManus. Oh, nice stop by Parks. That's what gives me some hope for this season is Parks. If he can just keep making saves like that and, give us 1 or 2 goals a game, keep 1 or 2 goals off the board, I should say, per game, like he did at the end of the season when we brought him in. If he can just do that for us, I think we can finish mid-table, even with the lineup that we got. I mean, we're playing well with St. Mirren. We beat Patrick Thistle, so, it's possible. Anything is possible. Oh, boy. Backline beat. Maybe we should, switch formations. You know what I'm saying? Let's cancel. This has been fun and all. But let's, Macaulay's got an assist. Maybe we should leave Macaulay in there, take King out. No, not substitutions. What am I looking at? I'm looking for tactics. This is what I'm looking for. So maybe we could drop back to the 4-1-2-3 DM wide. Take take Macaulay out and replace him with, say, Danny Scott. Still another youngster in there, but that's fine. Make him the defensive midfielder. And there we go. We go a little bit more defensive immediately. And that's fine. And we'll play. Maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe it was our attacking threat that kept St. Mirren at bay. But now that we're in the counterattack, drop back. We're just going to start bombing the ball downfield. And there we go. The clock is running, so okay. I feel okay about this change in tactics. Clock is just cruising by now. They got an injury. McPherson, they actually brought him in. They've substituted out their whole squad now. Let's see. We can. Nah, let's just leave everybody in. I don't think we need to go the substitution route. We'd like to win this game in front of the home fans. 3 minutes of stoppage time. Let's not allow a late goal, and let's just, come away with a feel-good victory right before the. There we go. All right. So right before the regular season starts, we get a big win over St. Mirren. They are a championship club. No, they're a premiership team. So that's 2 Premier League teams. Look at these guys. They're all 4.5 stars. Way better than us. And we beat them. So even their backups should have been way better than us. There we go. We played very well. Murray gets the player of the match. Look at that. The young central defender, 17 years old, with a 7.3 rating on that back line. Stewart also 7.3. McLaughlin 7.1. Yaknovich, 7. So we played really well. Looking good. Tell the boys, a good win. Give us a little bit of momentum going into our season. And as you can see, we got to play Peterhead in 2 days. So that's something to look forward to. That's why I played such a rotated side. Not that I didn't think the St. Mirren game was important, but it is a friendly compared to the beginning of the league season. So that always has to take precedent, no matter how much fun that friendly was. What sort of crowd did we get? We only had 764. That's sad. That's surprising. I thought we'd get a bit more from St. Mirren, but we got to keep all the money from that, so that's good, I guess. Did that help us out financially? Maybe a little. $239,000. All right, so there you go. There's the preseason spectacular. It's going to be an interesting season. I don't exactly know what it's going to do, but we're going to come back for the league preview in the first game of Season 6 in League 1. And then, we'll sort of play it by ear from there. We'll obviously come back after that for the first quarter, but depending on how we're playing, it's going to decide how we start building up towards the next transfer window. So, until then, until next time, we'll see you later.
There's a team they call the CLYDE, who will fill your heart with pride. Dressed up in the red and black, we an L sign on the back. They've a winger and a keeper and a great big carpet sweeper. It's the bully